Meeting August 24th, 2026 to order. Looks like it's about 6:05. The first item would be roll call of members present.
Washburn.
Here.
Ventrini.
Here.
Bhatia.
Here.
Anastasio.
Here.
Karas.
Here.
Pollock.
Here.
DeGroot.
He is here. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item is a presentation by the Racine County Economic Development Corporation, their 2026 mid-year review, and we are joined by Laura Million. Welcome, Laura.
All right, thank you all. Hi, I'm Laura Million. I'm Deputy Director with Racine County Economic Development. I'm pleased to be here this evening to share where we are on our mid-year under our contract with the Village of Mount Pleasant, as well as across our work for Racine County to promote economic development. So included in your packet, you have our mid-year report, and I just want to provide a few highlights of our activities. So our CDC has assisted over 420 businesses over the last 5 years. 59 of those have occurred in Mount Pleasant, resulting in about $1.7 billion worth of investment in the Village of Mount Pleasant. Included in our contract are several special projects. We work as extensions of your staff to provide economic development services, but we also have special projects that are assigned to us. Included in that are working with village staff on bolstering and coordinating marketing efforts. Some of the highlights were working on solidifying and bringing Kadali America to Mount Pleasant and announcing that to the community. Helping promote the small business growth program that the village has launched across our platforms, and also just making sure that the village is sharing the resources that our CDC has. So when we have programs like our BizStarts program, that those are being shared out via social media. We continue to provide support around TID 5 development, as well as engaging with housing development prospects, on-site opportunities, especially at this point in time working with Racine County on identifying creative financing for sale single-family housing to make it more affordable or attainable for individuals in our communities. So one of the other areas of focus for Racine County under our work is business attraction, specifically around industrial and residential development. Certain things that we have initiated this year, we continue to work on outreach to our site selectors, but we've initiated more focus on Northern Illinois for a business attraction campaign, as well as housing developers to be very specific on who our targets are. Our prospect activity has been a bit slower for the first half of the year. It's about 20% down from the first half of 2025. Mount Pleasant continues, though, to be of significant interest to businesses looking at locating in Southeast Wisconsin. We've engaged with 16 different prospects across advanced manufacturing, food and beverage, as well as distribution. And one of the things that we are seeing in terms of prospect activity, one of the reasons it's slower is because of some of the uncertainty in the global economy, as well as tariff situation. Companies, especially if they're international, looking to come to the U.S., they're just making their decision to make a decision on a location has been slowed due to those increasing costs. We are seeing new construction investment. As you look at our overall dashboard, is a little bit lower than what we had anticipated. A lot of that is due to the fact that so many buildings were built in the 2020, 2021, 22 time period. And businesses that are coming into the community, they're not having to spend as much on new construction. So that is what's happening as you look at the projects that have been approved. Other things just to highlight, we continually regularly engage with Microsoft on their project, as well as providing ongoing support to Kadali America as they come into the community, making sure that they've got access to the local resources they need to transition to the area. On the business expansion side, this really focuses on helping our existing businesses access resources. That includes our business financing programs. We do a lot of outreach to make sure that our businesses are aware of our programs, as well as just understanding what their needs are. And we're finding, as we've talked to them, there's a really mixed business performance. Our manufacturers, many of them are doing well. They're in the logistics sector. They're also doing fine. On the manufacturing side, especially if they're in energy defense or in data centers, they're doing really well. And those companies are actually starting to do more hiring, which is good to hear. Small businesses, though, are continuing to have challenges on revenue growth. Rising costs are affecting everyone. Everything you hear in the news is true, and it's affecting small businesses and something that we keep in mind. We continue to have a lot of technical assist requests come in, and we connect those businesses with the resources that are available either through our CEDC or through our partner programs. In terms of programming, one thing I'd like to highlight is our BizStarts Racine program, which I briefly mentioned. This is a program that we initiated in 2024 to assist small businesses, aspiring entrepreneurs, really provide some additional structure and support to help them with business growth and establishing a new business. We've assisted over 30 businesses or individuals with this particular program. It includes 3 parts. Phase 1 is training for 6 weeks. Then there's mentoring support for an additional 3 to 4 months, and then the opportunity to work with students from Carthage College. We are initiating our next cohort on September 3rd, and really would encourage you to share that information with your residents. We've actually had 7 residents from the village of Mount Pleasant participate in that particular program. A couple other highlights on our business expansion side. We've assisted 7 different businesses, several of them with matching grants from Racine County. That's a very popular program that allows businesses that are minority, women, manufacturers, and veteran-owned businesses to access that grant up to $5,000 for marketing, consulting support, as well as training. That program is very popular, and we're actually out of funds for this year. And then we also assisted Badger Meter as they have brought in additional production lines and resulted in about $4 million of additional investment at their facility. Another area of focus is our talent attraction effort, which is showcasing Racine County as a great place to live and work through our greater RacineCounty.com platform. We continue to update that and put resources into that program, making sure our employers are aware of the resources to help them as they work to attract new talent to the community. We've also worked with making sure that we're highlighting each of our communities, which includes Mount Pleasant. Other areas of focus have included working with UW Parkside as they've had new students come in, talk to them about our businesses in our community as well. So as we look ahead to the next half of the year, we're a little more than halfway through here, our CDC will be updating their strategic plan. So we'll be doing some outreach to our communities and key stakeholders as we work through those updates, because there's been a lot of changes in our community over the last 10 years or so. We're also will continue with our campaigns. Other things I just want to make sure that I highlight that are on our list. I mentioned BizStarts, please promote it. And then the other one, which is not really included in the report, highlighted as much, is that our CEDC is working with economic development organizations in Kenosha and Walworth County on a new pitch competition. This is the 2nd year that we've done this. We've changed the name. It's 262 Founders Pitch. It's got opportunities for individuals who are interested, if they have an idea around technology, biotechnology, manufacturing, but also an opportunity for individuals who have more of a community-based business. They can also pitch in that competition. The applications are due by September 1st. So that's the overview. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about my report.
I have a question about the BizStarts, and how would you suggest that we promote that through our, do you have we could go to your website?
You can go to our website. We also have on our social media, there's access there too. Also happy to share, again, that recent social media post if that's the preference, if you want that, or versus an application that's online.
Laura, under your Racine
businesses in Sturtevant that issued warn notices, the Cree Lighting and UNFI. It sounds like what you were doing was helping those current employees find other employment. Is that?
So what we were doing is working with Southeast Wisconsin Workforce Development Board to connect with those businesses. So not, while the Workforce Development Board often is connected with those businesses, they're not always connected. So we try to smooth that connection, because in the case of UNFI, they reached out to us and when they initiated the warn notice, so we were able to connect, talk to them, and make sure they were in contact with the Workforce Development Board. And we worked with them on scheduling job fairs at the facility to be able to help with those people who were displaced from that downsizing.
Oh, okay, so it was to help them, okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so we weren't running the job fairs, we were just helping make those, connections and also helping with the scheduling.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't have any comment, but I want to commend you for all your efforts because, looking at your report and every year that you make this presentation, you are the ears and eyes of Saint County and Mount Pleasant. So I think we appreciate that because you're the front lead which goes and kind of look for or make connection with the people, who want to attract them. So thank you very much. But just as a curiosity, I understand what you said about the business pitch competition, for the community base, but what does 262 founders stand for?
So 262 is our area code. So it's an area code of Racine, Walworth, and Kenosha County. So that's the common denominator.
Oh, I never guessed that.
Just a question on without naming names, do you contract with all of the municipalities in Racine County, or are there others that do something
We
else?
have contracts with many of the municipalities. Some of the towns we do not, but they are supporters. So it's most, I think all of the villages, I mean, there's some that are more residential. So Village of Elmwood, we don't have a contract with, right? So that doesn't make sense. But anybody who has the opportunity for development and businesses to come in, we typically have contracts with them.
Well, again, echoing the other trustees, we certainly do appreciate the efforts that you do to procure development business, particularly in the Village of Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Keep up the good work.
Well, we appreciate the partnership, so thank you.
It's a great one. Okay, let's move on to public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments on any matter. Please listen for the president to recognize you. State your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. I've got one person signed up, Jacob Ferguson. If you'd like to go to the podium that Laura just spoke from, give us your name and address for the record, and share your thoughts.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Ferguson. I live at 936 Sycamore Avenue, 53406 in Mount Pleasant. All right. Good evening, council members. I have lived in the Sycamore Avenue neighborhood of Mount Pleasant for 9 years come October, and I am here speaking on the matter of flock cameras. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon stated in a letter to Flock CEO Garrett Langley, "I now believe that abuses of your product are not only likely, but inevitable, and that Flock is unable and uninterested in preventing them." Wyden continues, "It is functionally impossible for people to drive anywhere without having their movements tracked, photographed, and stored in an AI-assisted database that enables the warrantless surveillance of their every move." A police chief in the state of Georgia used Flock's cameras to track his ex-girlfriend and her teenage daughter nearly 600 times. He was one of 50 rogue officers charged with or accused of abusing Flock cameras. Cameras, which security researcher John Gaines gained root access of in under 30 seconds via the password security and by pressing a diagnostic button on the back of said camera. I bear no ill will towards the police department of Mount Pleasant. They help keep this neighborhood and city safe. However, These are simply the most visible cases I found. In addition, Oshkosh recently rejected a flock contract after discovering the company had lied to them about the capabilities of the cameras. The original vote had been 5-2 in favor and then 7-0 against after the discovery. I urge the council to take a stand in defending the rights of the citizens of Mount Pleasant against Flock and its contractors, third-party entities who, without warrant, build databases to track the every movement of individuals who have no choice but to drive past them every day. There are models of camera that do not use AI or engage in the creation of a database whose mere existence is a clear and present danger to the citizens of Mount Pleasant. I ask the council to swiftly and urgently deactivate and remove active flock cameras, if any, and to cancel any current contracts and reject any further propositions or contracts involving the installation and use of flock cameras or their business competitors. Thank you for your time, council members.
I appreciate your thoughts. We are under contract and do have them in the village. I would encourage you to speak with Chief Basha in terms of how we employ and deploy them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak for public comment? Not hearing in from anybody, we'll close public comment and we'll move to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the items on consent agenda as presented.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So that motion carries. So under new business, we've got discussion, possible motion regarding Resolution 14-2026 for the closure of Tax Incremental District Number 1.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve Resolution 14-2026, terminating Tax Incremental District Number 1, effective September 10th, 2026.
Second.
Who wishes to speak to this then? Kathy?
Sure, I'll be happy to take this item. We're actually pretty excited to present this to the board. This is something we've talked about in the last few COW meetings. This would be the closure of our first TID district that we opened in September of 2006. Natural closure date of this TID is September 10th of 2020, or September 11th of 2026, and we're asking for this termination resolution to take effect on September 10th. The DOR requires us to terminate the TID or extend the TID prior to the natural closure date. So we have enough money in the TID to pay off all of our obligations in this TID district, so this will close with that closure date on that September 10th. What will happen though, we will collect increment for this next tax collection year that will satisfy the obligations that we have within that TID district. And then we will have payments that go out to the other taxing jurisdictions that are on the tax bill.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when you said that we will make payments to the other taxing districts, would that be the leftover money after all of our obligations are paid?
Correct. We have some developer incentives that we still need to pay out, and we also have some loan obligations that need to be paid out. So in the 2027 budget, when you see that document, that will outline all of the obligations that need to be paid, and then the residual dollars left at the end of that accounting period, which will end as of September 10th of 2027. We'll take the rest of that, split it up between those the taxing jurisdictions.
Nice to see one close.
Well, and that's
It's
just
exciting.
it, because, those board members that were present when that was formed are long, gone, have retired or otherwise moved on. And, so it's a rare person that, would be there when it was formed to see the ending of it. And so we get to see the ending of it. Well, in the meantime, we formed a few more to, push forward. But it's always a good day to be able to retire a TID. I mean, it served its purpose, but for the TID, we wouldn't have had that development. We have the development now that's throwing off more tax revenue. But just a reminder to the board members, closing the TID doesn't mean all the money goes to us. We get about a third of it. The new tax monies, half of it goes to Racine Unified, about 10%, 11% to the county, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ram, about 1 or 2% to Gateway.
Very small, yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No, I echo your thoughts, and again, Mr. President, as you said, I'm very pleased that we are able to close TID number 1 out of this 7. Our taxpayers and community has invested very patiently, and other than, distribution according to the contract, main advantage is that once you close the TID, our tax base is increased down the road. And that's again, I love the TIDs. I like the concept, not for the residential, but for the commercial, but eventually that tax base, increased base helps everyone. And as far as, distribution to the other partners, we don't have any control what they do that, but in theory, when they get the money, they should also hopefully flow down to the taxpayers. At the end of the day, it should be a relief to the taxpayer. Should be.
One can hope. One can hope. So in the matter then of closing the TID, let's do a roll call vote.
Washburn,
Aye.
Venturini,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Anastasio,
Aye.
Karas,
Aye.
Pollock, DeGroot,
Aye. Motion carries. So we have on the other page of the agenda, under L, discussion possible motion to approve the contract between the Village of Mount Pleasant and the Mount Pleasant Police Officers Association of the Wisconsin Professional Fire Association from, excuse me? Police, I'm sorry. Police Association, January 1, 2027 through December 31st, 2030.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract between the Village of Mount Pleasant and the Mount Pleasant Police Officers Association of the Wisconsin Police Association from January 1st, 2027 through December 31st, 2030 as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Would that be Mary?
So the current contract with the Mount Pleasant Police Officers Association does expire at December 31st. We were successfully able to negotiate a 4-year agreement running from January 1st of 2027 through December 31st of 2030. Just to mention a few things, there is a competitive wage package, but again, we did get some concessions from the Police Officers Association for post-retirement benefit obligations to the village that will hopefully reduce some of those obligations for post-retirement benefits, as well as some of our training obligations. So again, I think it was a fair deal for both sides.
And this is something that we discussed at a COW meeting. But any other thoughts from the board?
I think it was just as a comment, we discussed this a couple of times at the Committee of the Whole, and these are tough negotiations because we as a village board aren't really involved in them. We have to approve the contract. We have Mary Cole from Human Resources there on our behalf, but it's really different, and it's really been a learning curve for me in the last 6 years that I've been here. So I'm really pleased to see that that we were able to negotiate this the way we were. I think one of the things that has continued to cloud other estates and other communities with these kinds of agreements is that post-development or post-retirement, the post-retirement fund. And I think we finally now are starting to see where the younger people coming in, they're recognizing they're going to have to look out for themselves a little more in the world as they move forward towards retirement, and that world is changing. So that was a big deal, and I wanted to just thank Mary and Ryan for their good work, and Chief as well, and Patrick, yes, and Patrick. So all our staff did a great job. Those between police and fire, those were tough contracts, so.
Well, fire is still a work work in progress, but yeah, it's, I think that the board is going along fine with where the negotiations ended up. And again, they are tough negotiations. So, regarding the contract between us and the Police Officers Association, roll call.
Washburn,
Aye.
Venturini,
Aye.
Bhatia,
Aye.
Anastasio,
Aye.
Karis,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye, motion carries. Any reports? Anything from the administrator?
Mr. President? Mr. President, motion to adjourn.
Who's seconding the motion to adjourn?
Oh, did somebody make? Sorry, so much fun.
Well, yeah, you're a
Gina,
little,
second.
you're a little bit off, Mike. Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Hey, Chris.